do is we're going to grab this line here and we're going to slice. And let's also put in, so I'm going to go to my insert point tool. I'm going to put in that 0.75, just the same in the front and the back. So the corner point, and again, these aren't measurements I'm just coming up with in my head. This is what we have here, so I'm going to do 3/4 inch in from the edge of both sections. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this side, right, that I cut away, and I'm going to work. And what we're looking for, also there we go. Make sure that you snap here so that this is one continuous line. You don't want to have any bumps or kinks in that particular pattern. I'm going to say, based on the experiments that I've done, right, the book isn't foolproof, right? There are sometimes errors and inconsistencies. There's sometimes adjustments that we need to make. And the best fit that I've been able to identify is if we have this edge, this line here, like running on the top of our rectangle. And if you even look in your textbook, it that you can pursue when bringing out and extending the back object side and creating the portrait. All these different options. And they all kind of change the overall width or increase of the back portrait. So again, you can kind of play around with this, see what works best for you, and what design you want to achieve. But we're going to kind of try to follow system 7. So we're going to have a side seam that is 3/4 say, and we're going to try to have this ball kind of directly in line with X. So I could, stop here. In fact, this actually might be where I stop, just below. The other issue with browser is that I can't extract these pieces as one. If this point hits here, hits this line or above. So there are just a few tweaks, because right, we're not working on people, you can't trace this out. So there's just a few things that I personally experienced that I need to have slightly below a line so when I extract as a whole piece. So again, you just want it to fall in line or close to this particular edge. Okay. And you can, if you want to rotate it a little bit more. Again, you always have these, anchors here to help you. So this, this doesn't hit quite our marker yet, so I'm going to do one more pass. Pull it all the way around. shape, right, the side seam below the waistline, and then we're going to test the fit before we put in the side guard. So when we're shaping out the waist, you'll notice that in a lot of our waist, right, it is going to be consistent from the bottom of the armhole down to the waist, and then we're going to create a arc. Now you'll notice that the arc is slightly different from the front to the back. So for the front, we'll come over, going to leave the edge of what was the rectangular square. Then I'm going to grab this point down here. I'm going to make it at the waistline express point, and I'm going to just bring out this handle. Hold down your shift key, and I'm just going to bring it out ever so slightly. So that I have added curve to this portion of the side seam at the front. And so that's the shaping that's needed at the front. On the back, what we're going to want to do, you can delete this. I have like a little point here. I'm just going to use this point there. So just deleted that. For this one, we can also delete that point. I'm going to make this a corner point up here, as well as a corner point down here as well. I'm going to bring this one out. Okay, and we don't want to have it be too severe. Remember, we also need to really be, right, walking like Picasso. This is sewn, right, to this portion of the side seam. So we want to make sure that they are consistent. Now, again, this is where some of those discrepancies come in on, right, how we actually measure the center back and where it falls in the body. So I actually think this is too long, right? I got too long of a measurement for my center back extent. So I'm actually going to want to probably bring up the hem a little bit so that, right, my side seams are consistent on both the front and the back. But in terms of the overall shape, if you look at what you see here, rather than coming to a point, being a final one, right, you can see how there's just a little bit more of a blend when we transition from above the waist to below the waist of the side seam of the torso slipper. And there's not so much of a transition. It's a little bit harsh on the front, okay? So use the ends of your first point in order to do that. And again, you can kind of play around with it, see what works for you. But what I'm going to suggest is it looks like, and I think I did this morning as well, is I did bring up the hem. We could probably bring it up by a half inch is too great. I think I brought it up by maybe a third. And that looks to be right where I probably want it. And again, that was just because of how we have to measure the avatar with the tape measure and the ruler. So at this point, what I'm actually going to suggest that we do is that we create, so do X for symmetry for the back. And then for the front, we're going to want to remove, free up some points here. I'm just going to remove those on the edge because we want to open this up with the edge point. And then when we go into arrange, we're going to put the front in the front torso, the back in the back torso. And then we'll say prepare. Hopefully that'll just generate a nice beauty window. So over even now. Okay. And then I'm just going to stitch. And it's pretty simple in the, you could just do this in a beauty window. Also, you can see how to edge symmetry. And then stitch the side of the body. so you'll notice that I think that looks pretty good. We made some adjustments so that we made some adjustments to the sloper before we actually went and did the patterning. But you can actually see through this process, right, the actual flares that are at the back and the front when we create our fisheye darts that will take it in and have it fit closer to the body. Okay. And you can see that from the fit, the amount of flare in the back, I can tell that my back fisheye darts will be larger than the front, right? Because the front is really just from the bust point down to the waist. I just need to shape it so that it follows or fits closer to the contours of the body. Whereas the back, you really need to take in more so that it's flush with the flow of the back. Okay. But again, this is a good point to take a snapshot. Okay, right? Torso versus front or torso fisheye darts or torso versus and then the last kind of step is right putting in the actual dart. So we already know. So for the front, right, we already know this is where the dart will start. Actually, I might take that back. You need to drop it an inch below the bust point. Okay? So this diagram here on page 388 has all of the specifications for where our fisheye darts should exist. Okay? So we're going to drop down. So I'm going to grab, and I'm going to use guidelines because I like guidelines, but you're welcome to use pen tool, whatever works for you. So we'll come by offset. We're going to drop that by an inch. That's where my dart will start. Now I'm going to come out and bring a guideline to indicate right lengthwise where my dart will fit. I'm then going to look back at the book, and I can see here in this diagram that there is an inch and 3/4 of a distance between both darts. So the distance between from this central line to the other is 1.75. So the guideline I create here will be negative 1.75. That's the distance in between both fisheye darts. And then I'm going to draw another guideline at the base. So using the corner points that I have here on each dart. Because, right, the bottom, the fisheye dart will end 3 inches below the waist. So I'm going to grab that, say 3 inches, pull by offset, and now I know the end of where that falls. And the last step is based on the width, so the widest part, right, will fall on that waistline, and it's going to come out 1/4 inch on each side, so 1/2 inch total on the front. And I'm really like guidelines, so I'm just going to clone by offset, 0.25, so one side will be a positive value, and the next side is going to be a negative value. Now the reason that we're doing this, and we're not using the diamond darts for fisheye darts, is that the diamond darts will make your fisheye dart consistent. It wants the width to be consistent, and it wants the height to be consistent above and below the center. But our fisheye darts are not consistent. They are asymmetrical above the waist, or different versus below the waist. Okay? So that's why we're having to put all of this information in so that we can easily find the distance here. That's 1/4 inch. And again, page, right, everybody has access to this. I think it's page 388. All measurements that I'm generating are from that diagram. So now, because this has symmetrical editing, I actually just have to draw these two, and then the other two will automatically turn to the same side. So I'm going to use my punch tool with edit points off. Make sure I have my snap to guideline on. We're going to go from the top to the widest part at the side, to the widest part from the other side, and back up to the top square. And I'll show you zoom in if you want to get closer. And then we'll just do we can't actually use the dart tool, so the dart tool doesn't recognize fisheye darts. We're going to grab those internal lines, and we're going to say slice. And then the prompt will say if you want to create a fold. So both sides together. And this next we're showing, interesting, right, where you're still have that reflection on the side. Nice guidelines for a minute. Right, no more fisheye darts. That should also, you can see that the amount selected is adding here. And what I'm going to do is just take my stick tool and we're going to stitch these together. And then the other side should be reflected. So it's stitching on all four. I'm going to hit update, and then you automatically see, right, how it comes in and it allows the fabric to fall more smoothly up underneath the plastic. So we've got one side done, right, and back. And then we can finish off today's plastic side as well. So for this, I would just pick one of the square surfaces right here. So for this, look at these, right? The height is an inch below where the armhole meets the side piece. So I'm going to drop down a guideline here, and I'm going to comb by offset by an inch. This will be where the height of those back fisheye darts are. I know that I'm going to want to put, right, a guideline at the hip level, or to the waistline. That's the very center. And then, if you look at the diagram, right, 5.5 inches below the waistline is how far my fisheye darts will fall. So I'll grab that line and we'll do, right, 5.5. That's where they'll end, and this is where they'll start. So a lot longer than the front. In terms of where they'll fall, right, so it's 3.25 inches from the center back. So how we can do this is if we bring a guideline out just over our center back, and then clone that by offset, so that's going to be the negative 3.5. This is where that first dart, right, a fisheye dart will fall, the center of that dart. Now the next part, if you look here on the diagram, is at 2.25 distance. So I'm going to clone by offset, negative 2.25. the curve that I see here from the waist below to the hemline. That might be something I want to look at. Maybe I want to see how this blends from the shoulder seam and the front and back armhole. The neck doesn't look too bad, but I might want to, walk and blend that as well. Definitely want to make sure that your side seams on both the front and back are consistent, because they're both the same length, as well as the shoulder seams. But at this point, this is where we need to be. Don't forget to do file save as if you haven't already. Make sure that you bought it. Torso demo here. See? And now, please make sure you save this, and you also have it in a location. I'm going to take another snapshot so that I say final fitting. So I have that to go back to. This is the pattern that we're going to use for our 2 required designs for Project Baby, okay? So make sure you have this easily accessible, save it, it's on your desktop or whatever hard drive you bring to class. This is the pattern that we will access to do that, okay? I do want to take one quick note before we transition back to Project 7, which is, right, these are the final patterns you have. If you want to, say, create a cut-off neckline, armhole, empire style line, whatever you're looking to do, you will need to work with the contour guidelines. And there is an outline right here that shows you how to do that and where those lines fall, or those guidelines fall on the torso shoulder. You'll also see here in figure 10, right, because we have a shoulder dart right now. This has a side seam dart. So they're showing you, right, that you would close this, and essentially you would just lean that dart over, right, to the side. And they have this going. So remember, if you were to move this over, right, this needs to be brought back to where the bust point is. We backed it off. We need to bring it back. Okay? So we will, for I think one of the demos at least, we'll drop this to the side seam, and that's just a simple rotating, right, of the dart. But just so you know, that this is the contour guidelines that you want to start experimenting with, what guidelines you might need to execute the design to come up with for your final project. This is going to be great, especially if you're doing anything that's cut out, changing neckline. The first thing I'm going to ask is, where you're copying guidelines, which guidelines are you using for that? Right, to remove some of the inker excess in order to accommodate whatever new style line or pattern you might choose to choose. Okay, so just, I know we haven't done contouring in a minute, but just kind of refresher points there, and let you know that there are diagrams for both front and back. And we've got our 3 foundations. The dress styles that we will be doing in class next week are the stylized princess line. We're going to do this exact style. And what's nice about this is that they actually go over the facings and linings for this particular style. So you can kind of jump ahead and get a feel for the difference between what the lining looks like versus the silk fabric or the fashion fabric. And then we will be doing a tent dress, which is here, and this is the style that we're going to be working with, minus the sleeves. So we'll have a tent dress, and you'll see with the slash and spread, right, we'll bring it out, and then add in like a low waistband, so that some of that fullness is controlled. And that's where we'll end our demonstrations for this semester. We only have 2 more after lunch, and then it's just your original design. Any questions on the torso shoulder? Everybody feel like they have a good handle on what